Hey there, chatters. I'm Nat.
And I'm Kat, and welcome to the Crime Chat. I am your forensic femme fatale. Natalie is your traveling true crime connoisseur today.
Yes, we're just two normal girls obsessed with dark crimes, evil minds, and occasionally the unknown.
And here's your disclaimer. The following Crime Chat contains adult content and will have descriptions of pretty violent, well, the scenarios maybe, but what happens in this story is very discerning. So your listener discretion is advised.
An extra warning. Yes. Okay. Well, before we get into that, Kat, what shenanigans have you been up to?
I started, since I finished American Psycho, I started reading the book you got me for my birthday, and it's not popping up on the screen.
I can't see it.
The Book of Unusual Knowledge. It's a ghost. I can't even see it. Can you see where my hand is? See how thick it is?
Yeah.
And I got my kitty cat page holder.
So what is that book about?
It is, there's no desire more natural than the desire for knowledge. It's just unusual things. So, For instance, let me give you an example.
Okay.
It's actually really fascinating. The first chapter was about Hollywood and movies, like movies and television. Mm-hmm. I'm in chapter 2 right now, but I wanted to read you a quick excerpt of something that I think you would like. Ooh. And you may know this already.
Okay.
So between 1891 and 1855, the population of New York City nearly quadrupled. This growth convinced city planners to build a large open air space. Initial plans mimicked the public grounds of London and Paris, but it was eventually decided that the space should evoke feelings of nature, complete with running water, dense wooded areas, and rolling hills. Do you know?
Central Park?
Yeah. Yeah. Central Park was one of the largest public works projects in New York during the 19th century. Some 20,000 workers reshaped the topography of nearly 850 acres. Massive amounts of gunpowder, more in fact than was used in the Battle of Gettysburg, was used to blast the rocky ridges, and nearly 3 million cubic yards of soil were moved. At the same time, 270,000 trees and shrubs were planted to replicate the feeling of nature.
Yeah, that's a big project. You know what else is a big project? A lot of people don't know about this. So New York, Wall Street. Yeah. Wall Street is downtown.
Right.
You stand on Wall Street, you could see the water.
Yeah.
What people don't realize is Manhattan ended at Wall Street. Oh. There was no downtown. So the Bowery, all that, that's landfill. That's garbage. Everything past so on Wall Street, there's this famous Trinity Church. It's Gothic. It's beautiful. A lot of celebrities get married there.
Yeah.
But Manhattan stopped at that church. And everything after that is, and the huge part of the city is down there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all built on garbage.
Wow.
They extended the city. Yeah. That's crazy.
It's crazy. And by the way, there is a section in here on Walt Disney about his body. We covered that in part of the Disney.
Is his head
series.
frozen in the castle?
Well, no. Okay. A couple of short, quick facts about TV shows of our time.
Okay.
The globe that once appeared in the background of NBC's nightly news actually spun in the wrong direction for years before someone caught it.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Oh my God.
The empty frame on Monica's door on Friends was supposed to have a mirror on it. After a crew member accidentally broke it, producers decided they liked it the way that it looked and they left it.
It's actually brilliant.
Yeah. Okay, the last one here. Michael Keaton began his career as a stagehand on Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, and he helped to puppeteer and operate the trolley. Did you know that?
Nope, that is so cool.
This is a book of unusual knowledge.
Yeah, things you wouldn't even think of knowing. That's crazy.
It's huge. There are 700 pages. That's a lot of knowledge. But other than that, I did just download the Arvilla. Arvelia. I'm not exactly sure. Arvelia. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's our friend Dana's book, Chatter. Dana Henley. Mm-hmm. It's on Amazon.
Yeah.
Did you get a hard copy?
I did.
Yeah. Have you started to read it?
Not yet, no.
Started to read it yet? Okay.
Not yet, but I'm going to. I'm planning. It's not like a large book. I mean, it's like this thick, but from what because we did an interview with her.
Yeah.
And her co-author, Louis Deedman. And the book it's kind of like, it's giving me Divot Box.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, she gave me a couple of little hints, but she also said that it's going to be like a trilogy.
Yeah.
So there's 2 more books coming out.
Yeah. That's awesome, though.
So,
Congratulations, Dana. I downloaded it to read on the cruise.
Okay.
So I have to balance my electronic, my ebooks, my audiobooks, and my hard copy books because I prefer them all hard copy, but I get overwhelmed. So I balance them out, And it's easier if I'm like on the road or something to listen to a book, obviously.
Yeah.
I just listened to, that's the other thing I was going to tell you. I listened to Reese Witherspoon's book, her new one that just came out last year called Gone Before Goodbye. Amazing.
Really? Is it like about her life or something?
No. It's a completely fictional book.
Oh.
It's based on military combat medics. Mm-hmm. But there's this whole other like weird twist to it. Wow.
Really?
It was really good. She did co-author, and I don't remember the co-author, but because I did the audiobook, she narrates most of it. She narrates the main character and kind of some of the exposition and that kind of thing. So, but there's other voices and stuff in there too. It was really good. So well done, Reese Witherspoon. I highly enjoyed it.
Okay. So, all right.
I think that's her first book, like first fictional book like this.
Very cool.
Anyways, so I'm a nerd. Books. What about you?
Nothing really. I am going to start the Arvelia. Dana's really excited about us reading it. Can't wait.
Yeah. I definitely want to get it read while I'm on the cruise. So,
yeah.
Yay.
And then your book is coming out.
Well, no, it's not even close.
No?
I'm up through chapter 8. Mm-hmm. It's about 13,000 words so far, but it's not even the climax. Like I've got...
Really?
But I've done a lot of work on it in these last couple months. Mm-hmm. I anticipate a bit of a stall over the next couple months. My goal is to have a draft done by graduation, which is September. So I think it's doable to have a decent draft done by then. Mm-hmm. So
I think so.
Yeah. I sent it to a couple people, kind of waiting for their feedback. Is it making sense? Is it flowing? Mm-hmm. And actually, a coworker of mine, I just gave him the latest, the 8 chapters. He read my first 3 chapters last year, and those chapters aren't even in the same order anymore. Chapter 1 is still chapter 1.
What did I read? Did I read more than one chapter? I can't remember.
I think I sent you the first 3 chapters last year.
Okay.
And I can send you.
It's changed?
Yeah. So chapter 2 is now chapter 3.
Okay.
I added a flashback chapter in.
Oh,
just to kind of give it more context. So,
right. That sounds cool.
That's fun for me.
Yeah.
That's fun kind of trying to put the pieces together. One, build the tension that you're trying to build without it lulling, because you can build, and then have like this needed section, but maybe that's not the right place for it. Maybe you need to enter it in a little bit earlier so it kind of helps. Because when there is a lot of tension, and I found this with American Psycho, it was like tense. Then there'd be a chapter of just like Whitney Houston or Phil Collins, or something like that, like typical 80s. But when you have that kind of eases the reader off, but it doesn't completely like dismiss them out of the story.
Right.
Kind of. So there's a balance.
Yes.
I'm learning a balance. We'll see. But I can send you what I have.
Okay. Yes. I want to read it. Yeah.
Chapters 1 through 8.
Okay, so Kat, you asked me to do an intro on the 70s. Like you weren't specific. You really didn't you said you can include some crime. You were like, you kind of just threw it at me. And I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, because it's going to set us up for our traveling scenarios.
Oh, okay. So I figured I just did like a hodgepodge. Okay. My intro is called That's the 70s Rant. I'm going to rant about the 70s, okay?
The 70s were wild, man.
They were wild. I know. There's so much. There's so much information. There's so many goodies that I could pull from. I'm like, there's too much here. So let me just rant about it. All right. Well, America in the 1970s was a great time to be alive. Assuming you enjoyed chaos, fear, and the constant feeling that society was being held together with duct tape and vibes. The optimism of the post-war years was dead, buried, and not coming back. Vietnam wouldn't end. Watergate proved the government was lying. Shocking, we know. Gas lines stretched for miles, and inflation made everybody broke, but somehow we were still expected to smile about it. Cities were thriving. in crime, murders, robberies, and assaults skyrocketed while police departments were overwhelmed and underprepared. Mental health institutions were shut down, thank you, Geraldo Rivera, with no backup plan. Because why think ahead? And suddenly a lot of very unstable people were just out there wandering around, doing their thing. I remember Staten Island was a hot spot for that.
Oh.
Geraldo Rivera got his big break on Staten Island when he shut down Willowbrook.
Yeah.
I mean, what they were doing there was criminal.
Sure.
But
yeah.
There was no plan for them. They just shut it down and they just said, open the door, said, okay, go to the streets.
There you go. Here you go.
It was horrible. It was horrible.
We fed you and housed you and now you have nothing.
Yep. And while America was busy pretending that it's all fine, nothing to see here, serial killers were having the decade of their lives. We're talking about names that became household nightmares like Ted Bundy, John Wayne Gacy, and the Son of Sam. Law enforcement didn't have profiling yet. Oh no, departments barely spoke to one another.
Yeah.
And crossing state lines might as well have made you invisible because there was no collaboration.
Yeah, we'll get to that.
Honestly, if you were a predator in the 70s, the system practically handed you a roadmap. And not to forget the fun, weird stuff. Cult leaders were wildly popular. Like Jonestown reminded everybody that blind devotion ends badly. The Zodiac taunted police like it was a game. Patty Hearst got kidnapped and then joined her captors because, of course she did, because that's what you do.
Yeah.
UFO sightings surged. Satanic panic was just warming up. And parents were convinced Halloween candy was poison, despite zero evidence. I remember that, going trick-or-treating and be like, don't touch the candy, check every single thing. Oh, and fashion, absolutely unhinged. Bell bottoms, so wide you can lose a small child in them. Polyester, everything. Harvest green, Harvest gold, pea green appliances. The color combinations that looked like they were chosen during a blackout. Serial killers blending in was easy when everyone already looked suspicious by default.
Well, kind of get to that too.
And here's the kicker. People still trusted strangers. Doors were unlocked. My doors growing up were never locked. I never had a key. I never had a house key.
Yeah.
Because my father always had pit bulls.
Yeah.
So
that was your
home
security.
That was my home security, right? But I never had a freaking key. It's crazy.
Well, Biscuit's our home security.
Right.
But we still lock our doors. And set the alarm.
Kids like Kat and I roamed free. Yes. Hitchhiking was a thing. Turns out the call was coming from inside the decade. The 1970s weren't scary. They were a masterclass in what happens when society looks the other way and hopes for the best. And as history showed, hoping didn't stop anyone. So that is my 1970s rant.
Love
Tried
it.
to cover as much as I could.
No, it's perfect. It's perfect. So I mentioned you touched on a couple things and it'll kind of all come to fruition here. Now, I want to let you know, I tried to make the story a little fun because it's not a fun story, but not to necessarily minimize what actually had happened because it was very serious. But it's also highlighting some of the issues systematically that happened during that time frame. So today's story is about a man who was, by all accounts, a TV repairman, which in the 70s basically meant he had a van and he knew how to hit the side of a wooden box until the picture stopped flickering.
Right.
Remember hitting the TV? And back then, that was magic. You show up with a tool belt and a mustache. Woof, you're basically the Wizard of Oz. You fix the boob tube. But while he was supposed to be fixing the vertical hold on your zenith, he was actually, we'll say, extreme mental health red flags.
Oh, boy.
So according to his own confessions, he'd be fixing a capacitor while simultaneously daydreaming about, and I'm quoting here, rape and murder.
Oh, my God.
Now, most people would think about lunch, but this guy's like, hey, if I angle this screwdriver just right, I could also ruin multiple lives.
Oh, my God. It's terrible.
So today we're talking about Robert Frederick Carr III, an American serial killer and pedophile who killed 3 children and 1 woman in the states of Florida and Connecticut between 1972 and 1976. He also admitted to molesting more than a dozen children up until his apprehension. He was sentenced to life.
Oh my God.
So, let's get into the story.
Yeah.
Carr was born on December 22nd, 1943 in Virginia, and there isn't a whole lot known about his childhood. However, he later stated that it was troubled, reportedly being forced into prostitution at the age of 11, and then stealing cars by the time he was a teenager.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And then as an adult, he moved to Connecticut. He gets married, he has kids, holds down steady employment. And this is where I want you to picture the most beige man imaginable. Like if oatmeal became animated and learned how to replace a fuse, that's Robert Carr.
Oh my God. He looked like oatmeal. You gave me a visual. You gave me a very specific visual.
So by most accounts, his marriage wasn't explosive. It was quiet. The kind of relationship where 2 people coexist like furniture that occasionally files taxes together. However, Carr would later admit that when having sex, he would fantasize about committing rape and murder. According to his own later statements, his violent fantasies didn't show up suddenly. They crept in slowly, intrusively, the way a song gets stuck in your head, except instead of a catchy chorus, your brain goes, hey, what if you were in a nightmare?
It's crazy.
And here's the crucial distinction, because this matters. Having violent thoughts does not make someone violent. Brains can be messy, and sometimes intrusive thoughts are incredibly common. Most people go, yikes, and move on with their lives. But Carr didn't. Instead of confronting those thoughts, talking to someone, or seeking help, especially as they intensified, he buried them deep. He compartmentalized. By day, husband, father, TV repairman. By night, a man rehearsing scenarios in his head that scared him and disturbingly excited him. And what's chilling is that Carr reportedly knew this wasn't normal. He wasn't confused. He didn't believe he was justified or righteous. He just let it grow.
Right. Well, he was a prostitute by age 11.
That's what he says.
Oh, okay. Okay.
He said that in a confession, like in a part of his, after he was arrested and giving a statement and that kind of thing. Other research I found on this said that his childhood was normal. So it's kind of like,
okay. Right.
Wasn't it? Maybe he was saying it. I'm not too sure. People who knew him didn't describe passion or rage or intensity. They described someone distant, checked out maybe, a man who experienced life at arm's length. And when your internal life is more vivid than your external one, that's where your attention goes. Your marriage becomes background noise. Your kids become routine. It really dulls. In the meantime, the fantasies sharpen. Millions of people have disturbing thoughts and never harm anyone. The difference is intervention, self-awareness, accountability, boundaries, treatment. Carr chose none of those. Instead, he chose movement, travel, distance, opportunity. And once he realized that he could leave the state of Connecticut, cross into another jurisdiction, and become someone else for a while, that sealed the deal for him. And from there, the slope isn't steep, it's gradual, it's slippery, almost boring, and how predictable it becomes until it gets catastrophic. So Carr starts traveling for work. Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana. He's like a twisted version of the Travel Channel. Tonight on No Reservations, abandoned rest stops and my emotional collapse.
I would so watch that show. I would so watch it. I would binge it.
The key part thing is the van.
Yeah.
His van. It wasn't just a work vehicle. It was a purpose-built bad decision on wheels. And at some point, quietly, deliberately, he modified the inside of his van so the back door handles did not work from the inside.
It's terrifying.
Now, this is a man sitting in his driveway thinking, you know what this needs? Fewer exits. Because door handles are one of those things that you don't notice until you desperately need them.
Yeah.
Like in a hurry.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah.
So this modification alone tells us a lot. It wasn't impulsive. It was planning. And not in a dramatic mustache twirling way, but in a deeply practical, deeply unsettling way. And that's what makes it kind of scary. Yeah. It's not the rage. It's not the chaos. It's the logistics.
Yep.
And then there was the trunk. Well, the back end of the van. So I don't want you imagining anything somatic here. No ominous lighting, dramatic reveal. What we're dealing with is something far worse. Mundane preparedness. Inside the trunk, investigators found a shovel and multiple jars of petroleum jelly.
Oh my God.
Now, a shovel by itself, okay, fine. Gardening, snow, you're a guy who believes in being prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Petroleum jelly by itself, okay, also fine.
You're P. Diddy.
Well, dry skin, chapped lips,
Right.
a man who moisturizes.
Oh boy.
But together, you're either a serial killer or you're having the worst bachelor party imaginable.
Yes.
And this is a scary part. When he went home. Dad, husband, neighbor. There was no public unraveling, no visible breakdown. He clocked in, he clocked out, and then, intermittently, quietly, he committed horrors in other states like it was a business trip. And that ability to switch lives on and off, the compartmentalization, he was very good at it.
That's scary.
He didn't bring the road home with him. He didn't talk about it. He didn't act haunted. He mowed the lawn. He fixed things around the house. He watched television. Because when somebody can separate their inner world from their outer behavior completely, it means there's no warning signs. And this matters when we talk about the victims, because they were encountering a version of Carr that no one else saw. His victims weren't targeted because of who they were as individuals. They were chosen because they were accessible. Hitchhikers, people traveling alone, people who trusted a stranger because at the time it wasn't considered reckless, it was normal, like you mentioned. So these were not risky choices in the cultural context of the 70s. Hitchhiking was common. Accepting help from a repairman or a man with a van didn't seem to set off any alarm bells in the way that it would now. And Carr didn't rely on force at first. He relied on the assumption that a man who looks ordinary will behave ordinarily. And once that trust was established, once someone crossed the threshold into the van, the rules changed. Tammy Ruth Huntley, she was 16. She vanished while waiting for her mother to pick her up. Carr drove her from Miami to Mississippi. And on April 7th, 1972, after raping her over 10 days, he kept her captive in the woods. He strangled her, and then he said, quote, "I killed her because she looked like she was getting despondent," end quote.
Interesting.
But Tammy was just a teenager with her whole future ahead of her. In late 1972, Carr visited Florida, and on November 13th, 1972, he picked up 11-year-old friends Todd Payton and Mark Wilson, who were hitchhiking from North Miami Beach. The inside back doors in the car were disabled. The trunk was filled with food, jars of petroleum jelly, and a shovel.
Wait a minute. They were 11 years old, or their friendship was 11 years old?
No, they were friends, both 11 years old.
Oh, and they were hitchhiking at 11.
They were hitchhiking in North Miami Beach.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, Carr raped the boys and strangled Peyton. 4 days later, he strangled Wilson.
Oh my God.
After the murders, he drove to Mississippi and then Louisiana, burying the boys each in one of the states. Both of them were subsequently reported missing by their parents when they didn't return home, of course. They were taken in a way that no child should ever be, and their absence rippled far beyond the grave. Then, in 1973, Carr was convicted of rape in Connecticut and sentenced for 4 to 8 years in prison. But he was paroled in 1976 after only serving less than 3 years. Upon his release in Connecticut, he would kill his fourth and final victim, 21-year-old Rhonda Holloway, before burying her body in a rural area. Another young life ended too early. And it's easy to get lost in the horror, but it's also important to remember that these were real lives, not plot points.
Yeah.
So after years of crossing state lines, evading suspicion, and operating under the radar like a true 1970 horror film, Robert Carr finally gets caught doing the most embarrassing thing imaginable. He gets caught in the act by a police officer. So May 30th, 1976, Carr pulls over and offers a ride, begins the process of abducting and raping a hitchhiker at knife point, while a Metro police officer rolls up and is close enough to notice that something is kind of off here. Definitely didn't expect a serial killer.
Right.
There's no chase, no dramatic confrontation, just a cop doing his job and a criminal who has absolutely run out of steam. The officer searches the vehicle and notices the modifications, and very quickly it becomes obvious that this is not a misunderstanding. Carr doesn't deny anything. There's no hesitation. He confessed. And his confessions were disturbingly practical. They were procedural, almost administrative. But he confesses not just to the crime that got him arrested, but to multiple murders across multiple states. Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana. He doesn't ask for a lawyer. He doesn't try to talk his way out of it. He just folds immediately. No chess game with the detectives, no cryptic hints or coded messages, and within a shockingly short amount of time, he's cooperating fully, offering details, locations, and timelines. Carr had been living a double life for years, and the arrest didn't feel like a loss of control. It felt like the end of a shift. He was tired. He was done. Because it reminds us that for some offenders, getting caught isn't the worst thing that can happen. Sometimes it's a relief.
Right.
He described his actions in the same tone you'd use to explain a repair process. Step 1, step 2, this goes here, that goes there.
Yeah.
Which is chilling but also revealing because it shows that in his mind, these acts weren't emotional explosions. They weren't crimes of passion. They were tasks, something to be done, completed, and then set aside so he could return to his regular life. Now, when detectives began accompanying him to locate the victim's remains, he treated it like a route he'd already driven before. He knew where things were, and he knew how to get there. And when he wasn't doing that, when he wasn't confessing, when he wasn't writing letters or being interviewed, he reverted right back to his baseline. That's the part that people struggle with most, is Carr's life didn't collapse under the weight of what he was doing. It stayed intact. His family didn't know. His coworkers didn't know. The people who waved at him on the street didn't know. They belonged to a different version of Carr.
Yeah.
And when that version wasn't needed, one that existed on the road, he shut it off. That's not the story of someone who lost control. That's the story of someone who maintained it.
Yeah.
Which forces us to confront a deeply uncomfortable truth that some people don't just snap. They schedule, they live among us, they fulfill roles, and they follow routines. Once Carr was in custody and the confession started flowing, law enforcement realizes this is no longer a standard case. Two of the primary detectives working the case were David Simmons and Ronald Wright. And I want you to imagine the exact moment that these two men realized that their job description had quietly changed from investigate a crime to go on the worst road trip imaginable.
Oh my God, yeah. So they had to take him with them?
Yeah. Because he drove with them across multiple states, points out all the locations, knew all the landmarks, knew exactly where all the burial sites were.
Wow.
So he, by all accounts, in accompanying them, he's calm, he's cooperative, helpful, and his man is like giving directions.
Wow.
This is next. And then this, like I was saying before, like step 1 is this, step 2 is that. Very procedural. Meanwhile, overseeing this increasingly unholy logistical operation is prosecutor Ed O'Donnell. And Ed didn't sign up for a pen pal because once Carr is incarcerated, he starts writing letters to the prosecutor repeatedly. He starts writing things like, quote, "Dear Ed, the food here is 2 out of 5 stars. However, the wire cutters I've been hoarding are exceptional." End quote.
What are you supposed to have wire cutters?
Which is unhinged,
yes,
but also deeply on brand, because here's a part that sounds fake, but it's absolutely not. Carr is eventually removed from a state mental hospital because he keeps hoarding wire cutters and pliers, tools. Because once a repairman, always a repairman. It's fascinating. It's unsettling.
Yeah.
But these letters aren't angry. They're practical. They're observational.
He's telling on himself.
Yes. It's a final look at who Carr actually was. He was driven by process, steps, tools, systems, and even in prison, even under constant supervision, he's still trying to control his environment, still trying to tinker, still trying to modify the space around him. Because for Carr, the crime was never about attention, it was about function. And once the function was gone, once he was locked into a system he couldn't redesign, all he had left to do was write the letters about it. So Carr's cooperation is complete. The locations are documented. The confessions are recorded. The system does what the system does, closes in around him. And for a person whose entire internal world revolved around control, that's a strange kind of ending for him. He pleaded guilty and spent the remainder of his life in custody. He doesn't become infamous. He doesn't gain a cult following. I haven't even heard of his name.
No.
Have you ever heard of him before?
Nope.
Yeah. He doesn't transform into a monster with a mythology. He just ages.
Yeah.
And his body fails him the way bodies do. In 2006, Robert Frederick Carr III died at Union Correctional Institution. The cause of death, according to his daughter in a later CNN interview, is that it was prostate cancer.
Okay.
And that might be an unsettling detail because after all the planning, after all the movement, after all the harm, he doesn't die violently or dramatically. He dies the way millions of men die in a system from a disease. Sometimes the ending is just the ending. Robert Frederick Carr III wasn't a criminal mastermind. He was a TV repairman. He was a husband, a father, a man who had violent fantasies that he knew were wrong, and instead of confronting them, treating them, or asking for help, he chose avoidance, compartmentalization, the open road, and the 1970s made that an easy choice. Mm-hmm. A van, a state line, and the assumption that a regular-looking guy was harmless. He exploited that assumption. He modified his van for control. He targeted people who were accessible, not because of who they were, but because they crossed his path. Ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Crime of opportunity? Jeez. That's scary. This is a scary thing. Mm-hmm. And for years it worked until it didn't. He turned years of secrecy into paper trails and a system of grim road trips with detectives who never asked for any of this. And in the end, he died quietly.
Wow.
But there's a takeaway here, and it's not about fear. It's about awareness, about how normalcy can be a disguise, about how avoidance doesn't make problems disappear. It just relocates them. Mm-hmm. And because sometimes the most dangerous stories don't start with chaos, they start with a van, a job that people trust, and that's Robert Frederick Carr III. Proof that the scariest thing is familiarity.
Wow.
And that's your traveling serial killer story.
That's crazy. So I wonder if the reason why we don't know of him is because his crimes were competing with that of John Wayne Gacy.
Sure.
And Son of Sam.
Yeah.
I wonder if, like, because this crossed state lines the way it did, I wonder if, like, the other ones were more sensationalized in the newspaper more than him because they caught him.
Right.
They caught him. Where they didn't catch the other guys right away.
Or even like the Son of Sam, you know, they were writing letters. He was writing letters tormenting police. Like,
right.
You know what I mean? So that there's a different type of attention, I think, that comes to that too. But even with like Ted Bundy was...
Well, he was handsome. He didn't look like oatmeal.
You like that?
He described this guy as looking like oatmeal.
Beige man possible.
Right. He was very beige. Like Ted Bundy was the handsome one.
Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy, well, he's crazy. I mean, it's just, I just wonder.
The horrifying one, I mean, he put bodies in his house, in his walls, in his floorboard. This guy just, I don't know. It was just not as sensational.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy. I've never heard of this guy. Love it.
I know, and it's scary. So scary.
Oh my God.
The 70s are wild.
They were. Wow. Amazing.
That's your story.
Thank you for that. That's crazy.
Thank you.
Love it.
Yeah.
I love learning things I've never heard before. Yeah. Okay. Well, do you have a picture of this guy, by the way?
I do.
Okay. I want to see what he looks like after your description.
Do you want me to send it to you now? Hold on.
I need to see what oatmeal looks like. He looks like oatmeal. Okay.
Well, especially the one where he's in his beige prison uniform.
I can absolutely see why you said oatmeal. I can absolutely see it. Oh my God.
I was trying to come up with something else other than oatmeal.
But he is the 70 personified. I mean, everything is beige.
Just a normal guy by day.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's scary. Crazy. Okay.
Scary crazy. Yes.
Okay. Well, chatters, we would not dream of leaving you hanging. For more chilling details and twists, in this case and many others, check out After That Crime Chat, available exclusively on our Patreon.
And don't forget to follow us on our socials: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, X, Rumble, Crime Chat with Nat and Kat. See what we got going on.
Want more chilling content and behind-the-scenes chaos? Become a VIP chatter to our Patreon. You'll unlock bonus episodes, bloopers, exclusive sneak peeks, and even free merch. And yes, we've got some criminal goodies in the works. Mm-hmm. So support the show, fuel your obsession with the weird and the wicked, and join the Crime Chat chatter crew in style.
Yes, and be sure to tune in next week. March 7th is our 4th case update for Season 5. Got some ideas already flowing for that one. And then our next season 5 episode is going to be March 14th, and that's Natalie's story.
You don't want to miss it either way.
Yeah, you don't want to miss it. We'll see you next time, chatters.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks.